The number one question I get asked these days is, what archetype am I gonna build in NBA 2K20? Shout out to my boy Darius. I bump into him from time to time at my supermarket. He's a 2K gamer, big fan of the series. He plans on making a playmaking slasher type of archetype for NBA 2K20. So if you're listening, this video is for you. And for everybody who's been asking that question for me over the last couple weeks, I had to come to terms with the fact that over the last couple years, I've been experimenting. I thought it was more fun to experiment and try out different archetypes rather than try to make this ultimo dominant build and try to dominate the park with them. In most cases, I was just trying to do something new for the community.
Take over already. Ah! Oh, man down. Man down.
I didn't want to make the same build that everybody else was making and dominating with. And that's just how I am. I've been that way since the Call of Duty series. That's when I can really pinpoint when I made that turn. I never wanted to use the same gun or the same setup that everybody else was using. I wanted to show my skills and show that I can put something else together that nobody else is doing and have my own unique style. That's why I made a 6'7" shot creating playmaker in 2K18. That's why I made a 6'6" playmaking shot creator in 2K19. I do it just because you can, and I just like the idea of making some kind of a unguardable build that no one else is really experimenting with. And whether or not I was right to do that, whether it was wasting my time, whether I lost a step on the dribble controls, maybe lost some clout within the community because I'm not making a build that everybody else is making, I still had fun. And I was a little bit more relaxed over the last couple 2Ks than I've ever been. From 2K15 to 2K17, it was real pressure. I mean, I was really trying to kill everybody out there. But things have changed. The archetype system might be totally different for NBA 2K20. We might have more options than we've ever had before. I'm almost 100% positive we'll have the ability to place our attribute points where we want to place them rather than letting the game choose for us. And if that's the case, it opens up a whole new world of opportunities for me in the MyPlayer Builder. So just like you, I've been narrowing things down a little bit. Even though we don't exactly know how we're going to make our builds in 2K20, because we haven't actually seen the MyBuilder just yet, I've come to a realization that I can no longer just sit back and experiment. At least not for my first build. I want to make a build that I know I can win with, that I can dominate with, and also one that I know for sure I can game with everybody. In 2K19, I started with a shot creating slasher, then a slashing shot creator, and this allowed me to play off ball. Somebody else would have to run point, and I would only use my ISO slasher when the situation called for it. And I had a lot of fun catching lobs, doing putbacks, but it wasn't a surefire win because if I didn't have a sharpshooter, let's say at the 1, then we didn't really have any sharpshooting. And because I was playing the 2, I couldn't really run with a lockdown unless he was like the point guard or the center, which just doesn't really make enough sense. I'd rather have a post scorer at the center and some kind of a sharp playmaker at the 1. So running as a slasher forced me to be very particular about who I run with on the park and even in the JRC or Team Pro-Am. When I ran with my play shot, things got a little better, but he's not necessarily an automatic three-point shooter. And if you're running with a slasher or a lockdown, you're kind of lacking at the three-point line. Sometimes the games would come down to the wire and we wouldn't really have a good three-point shooter to spread the floor. Even though the play shot is actually a pretty good shooter, it's not guaranteed like a sharp is. So based on what we know, as of right now, the archetype that I would probably start off with is more than likely some form of a sharpshooting playmaker. This way I can run with a slasher or a lockdown at the 2. My big man can be a post scorer or a glass cleaner. It really doesn't matter. It just opens up the floor for me to be able to game with just about anybody. This year running as a slasher, I felt limited. I felt like I had to rely on running with somebody who was good at the 1. And I like to orchestrate the offense. And this year it's been pretty tough sitting back playing off ball, relying on someone else to call plays when in reality that's the role that I feel most comfortable in. Now, if 2K allows us to put our attributes wherever we want to put them, I might go with something like a slashing, sharpshooting playmaker, so that way I can finish at the rim but also shoot the 3. Now, if there's a rebirth system, or I try to make a build on another console, I might go with perimeter defense, sharpshooting, and playmaking. Now, I know that sounds like a triple archetype, but I'm just basing it on if they allow us to put our attributes where we want to put them. I personally do not want to experiment. Make yourself at least one build that you're 100% sure of and push them as far as possible before you make that second build. I'm doing this video not just for you, but also for myself, to kind of hold myself to this. I haven't made a legit sharpshooter since 2K16, and I'm really looking to get back into it. Hopefully the demo helps us all get all of our experimentations out of the way before we make that final decision. So it's your boy Shake. I hope all this made some sense to you guys. As always, smack that like button to show your support, subscribe, turn on notifications for more news, and I'll see you in the next one. This year we saw some of the most disrespectful dunks, incredible ankle breakers, and a wide array of what the F moments. But we're on a mission to count down to the top plays of the year. These are your top plays from January to March.